Back. That's Stones Fields. I'm Rob Ellis hanging out with you on this Wednesday, and we're kind of picking up the pieces, right, of everything that went down with the Eagles season. We didn't think we'd be sitting here, kind of doing the autopsy on a year, but we are, instead of looking ahead to divisional football, which we should be doing. But nonetheless, that's where we are, Tone. And, like you said, yeah, and like you said before the break, here come all the questions, man. Obviously, the big one is going to be what happens with the coach. But once you get beyond that, it's this roster. So let's dive into it, man.
Yeah, let's do it. So, like you guys, we talked about it before. Come back or go home. That's the game, right? Who do you want to come back? Who do you want to go home and take their ball with them? It's pretty straightforward. So let's start on the offensive side, right?
Let's do it.
Jalen Hurts, come back or go home. Obviously, he's the franchise quarterback. You have Marcus Mariota as a second string, Tanner McKee as your third. When you look at that quarterback position, right, who are you telling to come back and who are you telling to go home, Rob?
All right. So, look, here's what I would say. I'll work my way backwards. I don't – Tanner McKee looked good in preseason. Certainly a guy you take a flyer on to see what you have there and let him improve. Mariota didn't get any time, which is a good sign because Hurts stayed healthy the whole year. So I don't know. I see some of the other backup quarterbacks in the league, and they're just straight trash. I really wouldn't mind if the two guys behind Hurts come back. I really wouldn't mind that. Now, Hurts.
Yeah.
And I know we're doing this off of, forget about the $250 million and all that. We're just looking at what he did. I still believe in him. If I'm looking at the overall body, I still believe in him. I think he needs to be coached well. I think he needs to be coached a certain way. I think the system needs to fit his strengths. He's not a guy who's got a howitzer for an arm. He's not 6'4". He can't do the things that some other guys do. That's okay. Those other guys can't do what Jalen does. So it has to be done right. So my answer is he's coming back. And it is critical. I mean, the first thing that you need to do, either if you're moving on from Sirianni, is make sure you have the right head coach and right coordinator in place to get him back. Or if you're firing the coordinators, you damn well better bring in the right OC. And I want that OC to call the plays and scheme it up, and Nick can oversee it. But and I also want Jalen in the offseason to really do some soul searching. I want him to understand, you can't turn the ball over like that. And I think he does understand that. But I also want him to understand you can be a better leader than you're being. You work your ass off. Nobody denies that. Nobody questions that. But you could be more of a leader of men in the sense that make time for these guys. You shouldn't have to be told, hey, why don't you have the guys over? Or why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Take that stuff upon yourself on the sideline and in life away from the field to be more of a leader with these guys. And last but not least, look at the way you handled the question for Sirianni, man. Even if you wanted him out of here, you could have done more to have the guys back, because clearly, according to A.J. Brown, whatever you want to say about Nick, he's got their back. So I thought that was kind of weak by Jalen, frankly. But
yeah,
I want it back.
Yeah, it's like he didn't necessarily disrespect them, but he also didn't go to bat for him either. You know what I mean?
Right. That's a good way to put it. He didn't go to bat for him. He didn't lay him out, but he didn't go to bat for him.
Yeah. I guess for me, I guess that's why I look at it as like, I take it more so as he doesn't believe in Sirianni rather than me, I guess, not having respect for him.
Yeah.
Because again, he didn't necessarily throw Sirianni under the bus at any point throughout the season, but he also didn't say he wasn't the problem either.
Correct.
So he kind of played Switzerland in the whole situation, and he's very good at that.
He played coy.
Very coy. And here's the thing about Jalen Hurts, right? That we all know, and he's portrayed himself to be this, and we're going to hold him to that. He's very calculated, very meticulous, doesn't waste words, doesn't just say anything. Whatever he says, he typically means it. So you got to take it for what it is. And also you got to pay attention to what he's not saying. He has not gone out his way for Nick Sirianni this season. He has not. He's not. But to continue with the game, as far as come back, go home with Mariota and Tanner McKee. McKee come back. I liked what I saw in the preseason. Young guy has some tools to work with. A little flat-footed, a little stiff. Don't expect him to run, but He looks like he knows what he's doing. He throws a pretty nice back shoulder throw, a back shoulder pass. So he has some tools to work with.
Yeah.
He's a product. Mariota, he can go. He can go home. When you guys told me about how things went for him on that quarterback series on Netflix and just where his mind is with the sport, I don't know if I want that kind of guy in the building. I don't know if I want that kind of guy behind my multi-million-dollar, $250 million quarterback. I want someone next to Jalen Hurts who's a veteran experience and actually has won on a pretty high level before. Maybe they won a few playoff games. Maybe they've been to an NFC championship, but maybe they were never the guy. Maybe they were a part of a moment. I would like a veteran behind Jalen Hurts, someone who's going to hold him accountable. I want a grown man basically behind Hurts.
And that's fine. Like, and again, if they've come to the conclusion, like, wow, McKee really knows the system. I could be a new coach, but if they feel like he's now matured enough to be that backup guy, I'm fine with that. I really liked what I saw from him. And I know it was against second stringers and third stringers, but so what? He's playing with second and third stringers. So I liked what I saw from him. All right. So I would say I wouldn't have a problem with any of them all coming back, but I would be fine if it was Jalen and McKee, and then you figure out the third guy.
Okay. All right. Let's go to the running back position. All right. So running back, DeAndre Swift, Kenny Gainwell, Boston Scott, Rashad Penny. Come back or go home. Who's coming back to the crib? Who's going home, Rob?
All right. Penny's going home. Penny went home. I don't know if Penny ever got home this year. I think
did he ever leave the house?
He was on the street kind of looking for the address all year. What is I think I'm at 15. All right. So that was Penny all year. So he can go home. I mean, if you want to bring Boston Scott back at a league minimum, fine. He can come back. He returns kicks, although you don't get a lot of opportunities to return kicks. But and he's a fine guy to plug in as a 3 as a backup. I'm fine with that. I think they overvalue Gainwell.
Agreed.
Agreed. Or early. I mean, you remember the first game of the year, Swift got 2 touches. Gainwell was the primary for some reason. So he's okay. I think he's okay. I would go come back with Gainwell. That's fine. I think they absolutely, Tone, should give DeAndre Swift in the neighborhood of $5 million a year to come back and play for them. Do I think they will? No.
Right.
I would bring him back. A guy who can run the way that he runs and catch the ball the way that he catches the ball. He stayed healthy for the most part this year. I think the only game he missed, was the game he was sick against the Giants.
The last game. He was healthy all year.
So he stayed healthy. He ran tough between the tackles. He ran for 1,000 yards. The reason he didn't have more yardage is on you, not him, because you didn't get him the ball enough.
It was a career year for him all across the board. A career year in yards, career year in games played. He was at his best this year.
Yeah, come back for him. So that's where I'm at.
I wouldn't mind having Swift back. I don't think they will be bringing back, but I wouldn't mind having him back. Kenny Gainwell can go home. I'll much rather keep Boston Scott, and then Penny can go home as well. I would like to bring in a power back to play with DeAndre Swift. I mean, like a legit young power back with fresh legs.
College, somebody you draft.
Yeah. But again, we know they don't draft guys high at that position, and we know they don't pay guys at that position. So obviously, the likelihood of Swift coming back is very slim. But if I had it my way, bring Swift back, draft a young power back with some fresh legs, keep Boston Scott, and that's your running back room right there. So let's go on to the wide receiver position. So at wide receiver, obviously we have AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Julio Jones, Olamide Zaccheaus, Quez Watkins, and Britton Covey.
Okay.
So who's staying? Who's going? Who's coming back? Who's going home?
Okay. Going home is pretty simple here. Quez, goodbye. Bye-bye. All right. He's gone. Julio Jones is gone. Olamide Zaccheaus is gone. I want Covey to come back. I want him returning punts. He was excellent at that. I want AJ Brown back. I want Devontae Smith back. But what I need desperately, Tone, is a real 3. They don't have a real 3. They fall so far off after AJ and Smitty that they desperately need a legitimate 3. And I think they realized that this year. I think they had terrible depth at receiver and tight end, and it's one of the most underrated parts of this team. Think about it. After Dallas Goedert, and they didn't utilize him enough, but it's not any except Stoll's fine if you want to just block. I need a pass catching tight end. I don't want to get off the receiver thing. You need a number 3 wide receiver. So the comebacks are simple. AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Britton Covey come back. Everybody else go home.
Are you buying into the whole narrative that AJ Brown wants out of Philly?
I don't buy it.
I'm not buying it either.
I don't. I know he scrubbed the social media. People went nuts. They lose their mind over that kind of stuff. I think he's a mercurial character.
He's entering the second year of that $100 million deal. He ain't going nowhere. Trust me.
And think about it. Like, he's buddies with Jalen. He's getting paid big time. He is a featured receiver here.
Him and Devontae have a really good relationship.
They do. I just think he's a bit of a wacky guy, man. And you just
he's a wide receiver.
He's a wide receiver, and they're not like accountants. They're not wired like your mailman. They're
right.
Volatile, emotional,
passionate guys that are very confident.
Yeah.
Can be cocky, can be, here's the thing, right? I consider wide receivers, they're like that overzealous cousin that comes to all the cookouts. You know what I mean? It's like they're great to have around. Yeah. They always deliver for you when you need them.
Yeah.
But they can be a little bit of a live wire. But, you know what I mean? Yeah. As long as you know how to handle them, everything always works out.
You know what it's like for me? It's like, all right, and this can apply to, guy, gal, whatever. You in the single days, if you're dating a smoking hot, I'll use it for a girl, just for my example I'm using here, okay? Sometimes you'll put up with a lot more with the smoke show than you would with the non-smoke show.
Absolutely.
Okay. And you're willing, even though you're kind of compromising yourself a little bit, but there's a nice payoff there if you do. Will it get old at some point? Yes. Will it end at some point? Yes, probably. But you're willing to put up with it because, for obvious reasons. That's what you do with diva receivers and diva corners. Now, when it doesn't work, like if Darius Slay is getting torched every play, all the histrionics and all the other stuff, you're like, yo, dude, see ya. But as long as they're still hot, you're going to put up with it.
Listen, AJ Brown put up over 1,400 yards and 7 touchdowns this year.
Yeah.
And over 100 catches.
Yeah.
Listen, he can borrow my car.
Well, all right. So Coach Marcus says he's not wacky. Wacky's probably a wrong word, but he is a guy that from time to time, there's going to be things that are maybe a little.
I think he gets a bad rap. I think AJ cares a lot. He cares a lot about winning. I think he has moments where you question like the decision, but for the most part, I feel like he's been very team oriented. He just has these little Twitter moments.
He has blow ups sometimes. Yeah. I mean, I thought he really handled when he finally came back and spoke. I thought he handled himself incredibly well.
It was honest.
Trying to calm the waves and sort of defend Sirianni, even though he didn't mean to sort of throw a little shade on Sirianni. He did, but he wasn't trying.
He
I think he's fine. There are way worse guys than him.
Yeah. That's my point, right? Yeah. We could be dealing with the George Pickens situation.
I agree.
Again, I just feel like AJ is the least of the Eagles' issues.
My point of saying all that was I want him here. I'm not
right. Yeah, we both want AJ here. Yeah. Let's make that very clear, Philadelphia. We want AJ Brown in this building. So all right. Yeah. So basically you should keep AJ, keep Smitty. Quez can go, Olamide can go,
and Britton Covey
stays for the returning factor, correct?
That's it.
Okay. All right, let's take it down and let's take it to another level. Tight end, right? Dallas Goedert, Jack Stoll, Grant Calcaterra, Albert O. Who's coming back and who's going home?
Dallas comes back, everybody else goes. Everybody else goes home. I can find Jack Stoll. I can find somebody to block
Yeah,
like Jack Stoll. I
I
need
know.
somebody who can catch the
I
ball.
like
I
Jack
know
still,
you
but you can
like
find
Jack,
him anywhere. You can find him anywhere. I
but you
know.
can find those guys. And I want someone who can block the way Jack Stoll blocks, but also catch the ball a little bit better. I need a quality number 2 here because for a couple of reasons. One, I'm hoping whoever's in charge next year utilizes the tight end more. And 2, Dallas Goedert can't stay healthy. He never stays healthy for a full season. So I need a backup tight end to come in there and play, not guys who become ghosts like Calcaterra and Stoll do and Alberto. So everybody goes, and the only one coming back is Dallas Goedert. That's it.
Fair enough. I'm rolling with that. All right. Let's go with the offensive line here. Obviously Jordan Mailata at left tackle, Landon Dickerson at left guard, Jason Kelsey at center for now. Cam Jurgens at right guard, Lane Johnson at right tackle, and then you have as the backups, backup offensive lineman, you got Fred Johnson, Sua Opeta, Jack Driscoll, Tyler Steen, and someone by the name of Roderick Johnson. So who's coming back and who's going home?
I think, unfortunately, Kelsey's going home by his choice. So I think he's gone.
You think he hangs it up?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I do.
I kind of think so too.
I think he's going to be smart about it. I think he's not going to hold up the organization and drag it out because I think he knows they have to make decisions based off of what he does. So I think it'll be sooner rather than later. Like, I think, my guess could be, Tone? Like, if the Eagles are pulling the trigger on Sirianni, you don't want the Sirianni and Kelsey thing happening right on the same day where it's like one doesn't get the attention it should get. I think he'll wait till the Eagles make a call. The Eagles are either going to come out with something where they're backing Sirianni or he's gone. Let the dust settle on that. And then
you just touched on something.
Yeah.
Will Kelsey's decision, or is it partially or even a fragment of it? Is it contingent upon what that head coaching position looks like?
It's interesting. Like, I do wonder.
We didn't tap into that.
I do. Yeah. Let's talk about it for a minute. Let's stay on that. I do wonder if, let's say it's somebody like Jim Harbaugh. I'm just pulling that out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Harbaugh, by the way, interviewed with the Falcons. So the Falcons have now interviewed Belichick and Harbaugh. They're big game hunting Atlanta. Like Arthur Blank isn't playing around. So anyway, I do wonder if it's something like that Kelsey doesn't say, you know what, man, we're gonna have a new sheriff in town. He's not gonna be taking any nonsense from anybody. It's no more Mr. Nice Guy. I like the system that this guy wants to run, blah, blah, blah. Maybe I'll give it a shot one more time. I think that's a smart thing too for him to wait to see what happens. And I don't think it means he's automatically gone if Sirianni comes back. But
right. But I think part of his decision, again, it may not even be 20% of it.
Yeah.
Even if it's 5% or 10% of his total decision, I think he's going to wait to see how they move.
Isn't that all the more reason? Right. Isn't that all the more reason for him to be smart and play it slow?
Right. There's no
Give
reason
yourself that option.
But here's the thing too, right? If the Eagles do make a move at head coach, right? If they do decide to move on, and again, we don't know who they're going to consider, right? And a lot of people believe, Belichick, Vrabel, all those guys, Harbaugh, they're pipe dreams because of the way the Philadelphia Eagles have conducted themselves as a front office and ownership in the past. A lot of people believe that's a pipe dream because of the type of guy they usually go for. Was what I experienced, and people who say that are very right in their theory, and the history has proven that they are right. But this Nick Sirianni's future, they may put themselves in a position to be behind the 8 ball. Like you said, Atlanta has already interviewed Belichick and Harbaugh. So whatever decision they make, it might happen today.
Well, let me give you one more thing on that. So up until today, Atlanta had been blocking all of their assistant coaches who were looking to make lateral moves from talking to other organizations. What I mean by that is, let's say you had a defensive backs coach who other teams valued and liked and wanted to talk to, but it was only for a defensive backs coach position. They can block you if that's the case. Now, if you're a D-backs coach and you're going to be a defensive coordinator, they can't block you if it's a step up, okay? So why do I bring that up? I bring that up because they're not blocking anybody anymore. tells me they have their guy in place, that it's going to happen. And he's bringing his own folks in. He's got his own staff. So Joe Schmo, who's the defensive backs coach, can go look at wherever he wants.
Or maybe they may not necessarily have him in place, but they're prepared to give whoever they hire the farm.
Yes. But I think it means more likely that it's this guy has his dudes. And I don't think the timing of that is coincidental. Maybe I'm just, I'm trying to look into things too much here, but I do think there's
I feel you. I mean, listen, this is what we get paid to do, to look into things a little too much.
Yeah.
So
we
so you're all
speculate.
good.
We have fun. Isn't that, I always look at it from this standpoint. Don't you do that with your buddies?
All the time.
And you go hypothetical,
Yeah. Not even if it's not sports related, just in life, we all speculate. We all try to, make our educated guesses, hypotheses, however you want to slice it. It's the gift of the gab, man. It's part of life. All right, let's
all right, go ahead.
Where are we? Yeah, let's go to the D line now. Let's go to the defense side of the ball. D line, obviously, Brandon Graham, Jordan Davis, Fletcher Cox, Josh Sweat, Jalen Carter, Milton Williams, Hassan Reddick, Marlon Tuipulotu, Moro Ujomu. Well, Hassan Reddick, do you want to put him in the linebacker category? Because he is an edge.
Let's put him at the edge. I think I would put him at defensive end / edge / defensive line. I wouldn't put him at the linebacker. Even though Matt Patricia would like to play him at linebacker.
All right, let's keep him there. So yeah, all the guys I named: BG, JD, Fletcher Cox, Josh Sweat, Carter, Milton Williams, Hassan Reddick, Tuipulotu, Moro Ujomu. Who stays? Who goes?
EG only if it's league minimum and he understands he's going to be a backup, which I think he does on both fronts. So he can come back. Fletcher Cox to me needs to come back.
Agreed.
He played too well, man. And Tone, here's the problem. I don't trust Jordan Davis.
Not yet.
I need Fletcher Cox there in case Jordan Davis is a bust. So come back Jordan Davis, come back Fletcher Cox, come back Jalen Carter, come back Milton Williams, come back Tuipulotu.
I didn't really see much from Moro Ujomu. I can't really judge him yet.
I don't know anything. Yeah, to be frank, I don't know. I got to tell you, if I'm being totally straight with you, I have real concerns about Jordan Davis.
Yo, they're growing for me as well, because you see a guy who clearly is talented. You see the athleticism. You see when he's on. You see, we've seen it.
Yeah.
But then it begs the question: where is his motivation to be in shape, to be in tip-top condition? Where is his motivation there? You're a first-round pick, top 15 pick overall. A lot is expected out of this young man, and he has to get his ass on on the grind. It's just that simple. You can't at that position in particular, when you got a guy like Fletcher Cox outplaying you, has a better motor than you. Nah, man, it's unacceptable. You're younger than him. It makes no sense. So Jordan Davis is definitely on the hot seat right now. He'll be entering the third year of his rookie deal, and they're going to have to make a decision at the end of next season if they're going to pick up the fifth-year option. And if he has another season like this one, they're not picking up the fifth-year option, and they're going to make him prove it in year 4. Agreed.
I mean, I'm bothered by. I'll give him his rookie year running out of gas. I don't love it, but okay. The fact that he was in his second year and this happened bothers me.
Yeah, the rookie year he battled injury and the endurance. So all right, okay, rookie year, I'll let you slide.
Yeah,
but the way you came out in that first part of this year, and then all of a sudden you fall off. That's unacceptable. You can't. I would have felt better if you would just show me nothing. And
I know, like that's what bothers me. I know it's there. I know you can play, dude. You got to the quarterback early, and you were a run stuffer. And then it went away for 7-8 weeks.
Exactly. So he's on the hot seat for sure.
But he's come back. I mean, so all those guys listed are come back. Yeah.
All right. Okay. No worries. Let's do it. All right. Linebacker position. And this is gonna be the easiest one. This is gonna be easy. Okay. Linebacker: Zach Cunningham, Shaq Leonard, Nolan Smith, Nicholas Morrow, Patrick Johnson, Ben Van Sumeren, Nakobe Dean. We already mentioned Hassan Reddick with the DN, so we're gonna ignore him. So go ahead. Who's coming back and who's going?
Here's your comebacks. Nakobe Dean, but not as a starter. He's got to earn it.
You got to earn that.
Van Summeren can come back as a special teamer. That's fine. Nolan Smith comes back. He's in the same category as Hassan Reddick. He's an edge, but we'll call him a linebacker. He comes back. Everybody else goes bye-bye. All of them. And that includes Zach Cunningham. That includes Nicholas Morrow. Gone. Goodbye. That unit has to be totally overhauled as far as the starters go. You have to have 2 new starters there. Those 2 guys can't play. Zach Cunningham was okay compared to the other slop, but it's not good enough.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? How much confidence do we have in this organization to overhaul that position? And again, it's going to be based off of who this head coach is. You know, they have to reevaluate how they view that position. It's hurt you too much over the past several seasons to believe that you can just keep popsicle sticking and gluing that thing together. It's beyond me. It's clearly been the Achilles heel of your defense, and teams have been easily been able to take advantage of it because your defensive concepts are not complicated. You know, you're not really doing anything spectacular. So all they got to do is look at your linebackers, find an open man. He's going to be there. So yeah, I agree with you. That whole linebacker room kind of needs to be blown up. If you ask me,
I really hope that a defensive coordinator comes in here now. The other thing is, will they hire a guy like this? But if they bring in a defensive coordinator that emphasizes the linebacker position, that would be so freaking great. It would be so great if you had a guy who was, hey, I need this, I need that. We got to look at this differently, and they actually would buy into that. Would be awesome.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's move on here. The cornerback position. I didn't want to conflate the DBs. I wanted to separate corner and safety.
Yeah, I agree.
So, the corners, we have James Bradbury, we have Darius Slay, we have Kelly Ringo, Avonte Maddox, Eli Ricks, Bradley Roby, Zach McPherson, Josh Jobe. Who's coming back? Who's going home?
All right, going home, Bradbury. I don't care what the cap hit is. I think it's 18 million. I'm eating it. He's got to go. Keely Ringo, he's coming back. Eli Ricks is coming back. Zach McPherson is a really good special teamer who they missed, is coming back. Slay.
That's a tough one, right?
He's a cap hit too, and he played okay this year. Slay comes back. Maddox comes back. Roby, goodbye. Job, goodbye.
All right, for me, Bradbury definitely not coming back at all. He's going home. Keely Ringo come back. Eli Ricks come back. Zach McPherson come back. Darius Slay, I'm going to say come back contingent upon if James Bradbury goes. Because I wouldn't mind having Darius Slay next to a young corner that has real promise, not questionable promise, real promise. I think they should draft the corner in the first round next year, but I mean this season. But that's just me. But nonetheless, Darius Slay come back, Avonte Maddox go home, Bradley Roby go home, Josh Jobe come back. I'm over the Avonte Maddox thing. I like him as a person. I love his character. I love his effort. Always fights to come back, but can't stay healthy, man.
That's the problem. Like, there's a couple guys telling
paying you too much money.
You can't go into next year counting on him to stay healthy. You can't go into next year in any way, shape, or form counting on Nakobe Dean either. So there's certain guys where, and it's tough. You can only. The problem is, with the salary cap, there's only so much depth that you can have. But I don't know how, if you're the Eagles, you don't look at this pattern with Avonte Maddox and just say, we better have somebody really good behind him. That's all.
Right. And Zach McPherson was his backup. It sucked that they both got hurt.
They missed
the same year.
That hurt them. Yeah,
hurt them a lot. Okay, safety position. Finally, Kevin Byard, Reed Blankenship, Justin Evans, Sidney Brown. Those are the 4 safeties on the roster right now. Who's coming? Who should come back? Who goes?
All right. Kevin Byard's going home. Sidney Brown's coming back. I don't know when he's going to come back, but he's coming back. Reed Blankenship will come back. Maybe not as a starter, but he's back. He can play special teams. He could be a nickel.
All right.
Justin Evans goes. Goodbye, Byard. Goodbye, Evans. Blankenship, Brown, come back. So two out of 2.
I ain't mad at that. Kind of like a youth movement there. Their safety position is going to be Their safety position is going to be one of their younger positions. So yeah, I'm pretty much in agreement with that. Reed Blankenship and Sidney Brown come back. Evans just can't stay healthy, unfortunately. Kevin Byard, he goes as well. I don't know what he has left.
He looks cooked.
And then obviously, on a side note though, and I know this is your favorite position. How pleased were you with the punting this year? Punting was amazing this year, wasn't it?
Very. I told you, Tone. I never worried about him. Like
not one time.
Braden Mann.
He's secured, if you ask me.
I liked that I didn't have to. There was no agita at all from me with Elliott. There never is with him, but Elliott or Braden Mann, and you had good punt returns. Man, it was pretty smooth sailing on that side, which is part of the whole irony of this whole year. That they were good and the other 2 units were terrible because it was the total opposite last year. Yeah, which maybe gives you a little.
So
hope
that's the experiment.
That was good, man.
Hope you guys enjoyed it. It really allowed us to really dig deep into this roster position by position and really figure out how we really feel about a lot of these guys, because when you think about it in the macro, it's so easy for guys to fall by the wayside, but when you really dig deep into the nitty gritty of the position groups, you realize the Eagles have some real decisions to make.
Yeah, they do. They do, for sure. All right, here's what we're going to do. When we come back, we're going to do an NFL segment, and then at 1:00, Jeff Kerr is going to join us from the NovaCare Complex. So let's come back. Again, we'll update you on some of the coaching searches, some injury updates as well, some guys who now have full control over their organizations. We'll hit all that stuff when we get back, so don't go anywhere. Tony Shields, Rob Ellis, with you on this Monday. All right, let's talk about Wednesday. Let's talk a little Pro Action Restoration because, trust me, it's not Monday. Pro Action Restoration. If you have a home, you have a business, and you've gone through the pain and the inconvenience of water, fire, smoke, or mold, you know how difficult that can be. But Pro Action Restoration is on call 24 hours, 7 days a week to assist. I utilized them when I had water damage in my house, and they fixed the problem. They took care of the drywall, the ceiling, the wall itself, the carpet, the whole 9 was taken care of. One-stop shopping. They are licensed, bonded, fully insured. Pro Action Restoration has been serving the tri-state area for more than 2 decades, and they will work in conjunction with your insurance company. So again, water, fire, smoke damage, mold remediation, you name it, they can handle it. Give them a call, 610-623-3760, 610-623-3760, or online at proactionrestoration.com. That's proactionrestoration.com.